Hello and welcome back to the Unite Pieces channel. Today, we are bringing you a martial arts action movie called The Karate Kid from 2010. The movie follows an American boy who transfers to China and faces harassment from a kung fu master at his school. However, his life takes a different turn when he strikes up a friendship with a janitor who turns out to be a skilled kung fu master. So, sit back, prepare some snacks, and without further ado, let's get into the video. The movie opens with Dre Parker, a 12-year-old boy who lives with his widowed mother Sherry. One day, Dre has to leave his hometown and move to Beijing because his mother has to work there for some time. Upon arrival in Beijing, Dre and his mother were immediately directed to the apartment building where they would be living. The atmosphere in Beijing was completely different from where he used to live. Dre felt hopeless before adjusting to living there because the people there were not fluent in English. Even SpongeBob shows on TV use Chinese dubbers and subtitles. Seeing the jacket lying on the floor, Sherry then asked Dre to always hang his jacket in its place. His mother then told Dre to call Mr. Han, an apartment building maintenance man, to fix the broken hot water tap. Dre immediately looked for Mr. Han. However, when he arrived at Mr. Han's place, it turned out that the man was eating lunch and told him to wait until he finished eating. While waiting for him, Dre saw Mr. Han being harassed by a fly. He thought Mr. Han would catch the fly using chopsticks like he saw in kung fu movies. But it turned out that he was using a fly swatter instead. Dre, who felt disappointed for waiting too long, left. Dre went to a nearby park to relieve his boredom and mingle with the people there, despite the language barrier between them. He seemed to be having fun playing basketball and table tennis with the residents. Just then, he spotted a beautiful girl around his age named Mei. Confidently, he approached her, got acquainted, and learned that she was a violinist. Dre was delighted that Mei was fluent in English, so he had no trouble interacting with her. However, Dre and Mei's closeness in the park attracts the attention of Cheng, a 14-year-old boy who turns out to have a crush on Mei, and doesn't like seeing their closeness. Feeling that Dre was being presumptuous by approaching Mei, Cheng then beat him up. Dre's petite body fell to the ground easily as Cheng was bigger and stronger than him. Mei immediately broke up their fight and sent Cheng away. Back at home, Dre hid the bruises on his face using his mother's makeup so that his mother wouldn't worry. The next day, Dre is taken by his mother to his new school where Mei and Cheng also attend. In the afternoon, Mr. Han goes to their house to fix the broken hot water faucet. On the other hand, Sherry, who has just returned from work, is again irritated by Dre's behavior, who always carelessly puts on his jacket. Mr. Han, who was repairing in the bathroom, could only watch the argument between mother and son. Long story short, as time goes by, Dre and Mei have a closer relationship because they are classmates at school. Dre always encourages Mei when she is practicing violin, because Mei is about to enter a music competition that means a lot to her and her parents. On the other hand, as Dre and Mei grew closer, Dre also had to avoid Cheng and his friends. He could only hide whenever he saw Cheng nearby. When Dre was walking with his mother, he was amazed to see children who were learning kung fu at a kung fu college not far away. However, when he went inside and saw Cheng practicing kung fu there, an annoyed Dre then left the place and got into an argument with his mother, as he had been hiding the fact that he was being bullied by Cheng. He told his mother that he regretted following her to Beijing while crying. One day, Dre's school organized a field trip to the Forbidden City. After exploring the Forbidden City, Dre, who was about to return home, saw Cheng and his friends on the street that happened to be in the same direction as him. An idea came to him when he saw a bucket of dirty water nearby. He then threw the dirty water at Cheng and his gang. Cheng and his friends chased Dre through the city streets and managed to corner him in a back alley. At that place, Cheng and his friends immediately beat Dre brutally. When Dre had fallen helpless, Cheng didn't stop and instead continued his attack. However, Cheng's attack was thwarted by Mr. Han. Cheng and his friends then attacked him, but Mr. Han managed to deflect all their attacks with ease. Dre is amazed to see that Mr. Han is good at Kung Fu and how he beat Cheng. Mr. Han then heals Dre's wounds using the ancient Chinese medicine method of fire cupping, and says that Cheng and his friends are not evil by nature, but they were made that way by his teacher, Master Li, who always taught his students not to be merciful to the enemy. Dre then begged Mr. Han to teach him Kung Fu, but he refused and instead took the boy to meet Master Li at the Combat Dragon College to make peace with Cheng and his friends. However, upon arrival, Master Li rudely rejects the offer of peace and settles it with a duel between Mr. Han or Dre fighting with Cheng. Mr. Han, who accidentally saw the tournament poster on the wall, then suggested that Dre compete with Master Li's students in the Kung Fu tournament. Not only that, he also asked Cheng and the others not to disturb Dre, who was about to train for a Kung Fu tournament. Master Li condescendingly agreed to the terms. Mr. Han then explained to Dre that he would be participating in an open Kung Fu tournament against Cheng. However, Dre immediately felt discouraged that he would not win the tournament, as Cheng and his friends were the best students in the Kung Fu college. But Mr. Han says that what Cheng and his friends learned there is not real Kung Fu. He then promised to teach Dre real Kung Fu. Long story short, Dre became excited about his day because he could finally practice Kung Fu. Arriving at Mr. Han's house, Mr. Han told Dre to get ready to start training. Mr. Han started training Dre by having the boy do common movements such as taking off and putting on a jacket, hanging up the jacket, dropping it on the floor, and picking it up again. Dre kept doing these moves over and over again for days on end, whether it was hot or rainy. He then asked why Kung Fu training was only like this, but Mr. Han told him to stay focused on training. Eventually, Dre got fed up with Mr. Han's training because he thought that he would never be able to match Cheng if his training was like this. Dre then decided to quit and give up the Kung Fu tournament. Hearing Dre's words, Mr. Han called back the boy and attacked him. But Dre can easily deflect Mr. Han's attack, using only the moves he has practiced so far. Mr. Han then tells Dre that poise and maturity are the true keys to mastering martial arts. He teaches seemingly useless moves over and over again, but he reveals that Kung Fu exists in everyday life, where everything is done with Kung Fu and Kung Fu is a way to treat others. After listening to a brief explanation of the true meaning of Kung Fu, Dre decided to practice Kung Fu with Mr. Han. One day, Mr. Han took Dre to the Taoist temple of the Wudang Mountains, where he practiced Kung Fu with his father as a child. Arriving at the Kung Fu college, Dre was stunned by the beauty of Kung Fu moves that he had never seen anywhere else. To top it off, he was so amazed to see a woman doing Kung Fu moves that she could make a cobra mimic her moves. He and Mr. Han then practiced Kung Fu at the temple for some time, and Mr. Han taught him everything he knew. After that, Dre continued practicing Kung Fu at Mr. Han's place, and he also seemed to always be serious in their training. After weeks of non-stop Kung Fu training, Mr. Han then gave Dre a day off. Since he was off from training, Dre went to see Mei Ying and asked her to skip violin practice so they could have fun together. However, while playing with Dre, Mei Ying got a call from her parents because she was almost late for the violin audition, which was suddenly postponed by a day. Since Dre had incited Mei Ying to skip practice, Mei Ying's parents considered Dre a bad influence and forbade him to see Mei Ying again. Although he was sad that he couldn't see Mei Ying, Dre realized that he was wrong. Long story short, Dre resumed his training and practiced harder as the tournament approached. Mr. Han then takes him to the tournament site where they pay their respects and thank each other for everything they've been through together. Mr. Han then presents Dre with clothes like those of the people practicing Kung Fu in the Wudang Mountains, which he will wear to the tournament. Mr. Han then helped him write and read a note of apology in Mandarin to Mei Ying's father. To his surprise, Mei Ying's father accepted his apology and allowed him to be friends with Mei Ying again. He even promised that he and Mei Ying would attend a Kung Fu tournament to support him. The day of the Kung Fu tournament arrived. Dre looked nervous at the enthusiastic crowd that filled the fighting arena, where Mei Ying and her parents came to support him. Sherry sat next to Mei Ying. In the tournament, due to Dre's lack of confidence, he had to lose points because of a foul he committed. However, after being told by Mr. Han, he finally got up and was able to beat his opponents and was able to advance to the semifinals. Cheng also did the same and finished off his opponents fiercely. Dre then defeated one of Master Li's students, so Master Li ordered Liang, who was Dre's opponent in the semifinals, to severely injure Dre. Liang didn't want to do it, but he had to obey his master's orders. Liang attacked Dre with a series of heavy strikes, aiming to make Dre unable to continue the match, but Liang was also disqualified. Dre was immediately taken to the medical room, while Liang looked sad out of pity. Although Dre was able to advance to the finals to face Cheng, he only had a limited amount of time to return to the ring before the winner was declared, especially with his now broken leg and the doctor stating that he could not continue. Dre then begs Mr. Han to heal his leg through the fire cupping method. At first, Mr. Han refused and asked him to give up because he felt he had met Master Li's challenge. However, Dre said that he had to defeat Cheng because he wanted to defeat his fear. On the other hand, the tournament organizers are waiting for Dre to perform in the final round because if he does not perform, he will be considered a forfeit and Cheng will be declared the winner of the tournament. Mr. Han immediately performed fire cupping on Dre and finally, he was able to return to the tournament arena and face Cheng in the final round, despite getting a low look from Master Li. Cheng started the fight by immediately throwing Dre out of the arena, which caused him to lose a point. However, he quickly turned the tables by defeating Cheng and gaining 2 points in a row. Seeing this, Master Li ordered Cheng to attack Dre's injured leg with a powerful kick, which caused Dre to lose his balance. Cheng then managed to get 1 point. Since both had the same number of points, the one remaining match would determine the winner. Dre fought with all his might and it crossed his mind to imitate the snake stance used by female practitioners in Taoist temples. Mr. Han had never taught him that technique before. Unexpectedly, this move succeeded in making Cheng change his attack style to follow his movement and Dre took the opportunity to defeat Cheng. Finally, Dre was able to win the Kung Fu tournament. Not only that, Cheng also admitted his defeat and mistake. He then gave the trophy to Dre, and they celebrated together. Cheng and all the students of the Fighting Dragon Kung Fu School then bow respectfully to Mr. Han, and appoint him as their new teacher, replacing Master Li, and that's how the movie ends. What do you think of this movie? Please write your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the like button, and support our channel by subscribing, so that we stay motivated to create more interesting content for you to enjoy. And until next time.